On April the 24th, 2012, a group of concerned parents in South Carolina went to the State House in Columbia to request for the Senate to allow the vote on the school bill, South Carolina H4894. That bill, it is good for the parents, it is good for the children, is good for South Carolina, and we request our Senate, the Finance Committee in the Senate, to allow the vote, online vote on this bill. Let's hope that the senators which are working for us are paid by us, and they're working in our behalf, would understand the parents' concerns and will let the bill be put on a vote. So we will know in the next elections who was voting for the bill, for the school choice bill, H4894, and who voted against the bill.
Great distances to get here, and each one of us represents thousands of South Carolinians who could not be with us today because they are hard at work and want to take off the time in this economy. What we've gathered here for today is that we don't just want school choice to move out of the Finance Committee today, but we don't want school choice to pass the Senate by a slim margin. What we do want is we want school choice passed by a unanimous vote of the Senate. Can anyone in this Senate not want a better education for their children? Is the future of our children less important than the empire building that has gone on in our school system? I would like to ask Senators Leatherman, Odell, Hayes, Rankin, Knotts, and the entire Senate Finance Committee, whom do you represent? There can only be two choices. Either the parents and the children who place their trust in you, or the lobbyists and bloated bureaucracy that siphons off the taxpayer dollars. Who do you go to listen to? It is said that in South Carolina, we spend $12,000 per student. But how much really goes into the classroom? 8 of our district superintendents are paid over $191,000 a year. They build their own empires with wasteful administrative costs that steal precious dollars from our children that need the help most. A little Lean Sigma program would go a long way in streamlining this bureaucracy. In 2010, we had a statewide referendum on what the future of our schools was going to be. And that referendum resulted in the election of our state school superintendent, Nick Zase. He was given a clear direction to go ahead on his program for improving our school systems. The Senate cannot hold that back. We want freedom. Freedom to get the best education for our children so that they productive members of our society and not be a burden on our society. The public school monopoly has failed us, and we want other choices. Maybe it's time for a new program. Let me run this one by you. How about parents in the classroom? We would like to see rules changed to allow parents, at will, to monitor their children's classroom. If there are 30 kids in a class, then each parent could spend one day every 12 weeks to go and sit in and see what their children are being taught. A parent in every classroom. Boy, would that open some eyes. These parents will have homework too. When they finish their day in the classroom, we ask them to do their homework by relaying their experiences to letters to the editor, with copies to Superintendent Zace, the state and county school boards, the school principals, and all their respective legislative delegations. That may create some free market competition and allow students to be qualified for the jobs that we are trying so hard to bring to South Carolina. Thank you.
What a great crowd here. Wait a minute, what a great crowd. We live in a wonderful state with a lot of wonderful things that are going on. The great place, the greatest place on earth to be is South Carolina. But one thing that would make us even greater would be to ensure that every child had an opportunity to attend the school of their choice. That every child in South Carolina would have the same opportunities as every other child. Freedom. Freedom only works every time. For more than a decade, I've been pushing for real school choice in the South Carolina Senate, and for 10 years, it hasn't occurred. It hasn't gone anywhere. It's been stuck in committee. One time we had a vote, it was a close vote on the floor, but it went back to committee. We have an opportunity. We have a bill in our committee right now in the Finance Committee. The companion bill, Representative Eric Bedingfield, our champion in the South Carolina House of Representatives, was able to work through the problems, was able to meet one-on-one, explain it, work the system. The bill passed the House of Representatives, and now the bill awaits its fate in the Senate. And with my friends gathered here, and with all our freedom-loving friends all across South Carolina, we can be successful. We need your help. I'm calling on all freedom-loving people. All freedom-loving people of South Carolina, let your voices be heard. Demand real freedom. Demand real choices for the children in South Carolina. We've got some folks in government that think they know best. They know. I serve with people that think they know best, but I promise you, nobody loves your children as much as you do. Yes. Let your voices be heard. Demand freedom. Demand accountability. If I want my child to learn God is great, God is good, then I should have that right. If I want my child to learn the values of the 23rd Psalm, I should have that right. If I want my children, to have the same values that I had, then you should be allowed to have that. You should be able to exercise your freedom to ensure that your child will grow up with the same values that you had. Public education in South Carolina is working for a lot of people, but it's not working for a lot more. Freedom is the answer, and like I said, it only works every
wasn't somebody like Larry Grooms who could get up here and preach and cast fire and brimstone down upon us. But I'm here for a totally different tack on this issue. Public education works for me. It works for my children. I have 4 children, 2 of which were gone through the public education system and are off in college or married with my first grandchild on the way. The other 2, one in elementary school and one in middle school, works for my family. But it works because my wife and I are constantly involved in their day-to-day education. I constantly correspond with their teachers and their principals, who are great people and have been real assets to my children through their education. But I'll tell you who it doesn't work for. It doesn't work for families who aren't involved in their children's education. It doesn't work for families who are somewhat apathetic about the education process, who use the schools for things other than just an educational opportunity for their children. What I believe school choice does is empower parents. They have the feeling of control, the feeling of responsibility. It gives them the ability to choose what education works best for their child, whether that be single-gender classrooms or other such choice opportunities, some of which take place in our public school system. Our public school system has already made changes just because of this argument over the past 10 years. What we want to see is that come to a final culmination. We fought, we worked hard in the House, we had great partners in the House, we brought people to the table in the House who haven't supported choice in the past. Yes, we had to compromise. This bill is not the perfect school choice bill, but it is the best place for South Carolina to start. It's our bill. It's a bill developed by South Carolinians and brought to the table by South Carolinians. What I'm asking for and what I'm looking for is follow-through. I want to see my colleagues in the Senate bring to the table this bill, amend the bill, do whatever you have to do to the bill to give the people of South Carolina an opportunity to vote on it. I've been in this General Assembly for 6 years, working on my 4th term. I've worked on this bill every year since I've been here. There are many champions who have been here longer than I, and I thank them for the guidance that they gave me moving into this process. The disappointing factors have always been that one vote that we came up short, or the 2 votes that helped send it back to committee. Listen, we have an opportunity. For 6 years, you as residents, as parents and grandparents, have hounded me and other members of the House to bring this issue to bear. It's here. Now you need to exert your effort on the members of the Senate. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Bedingfield. Next we have John Steinberger. Most of you know John Steinberger through his association with Fair Tax, but right now he's in a Senate race in Glenn McConnell's district. I'd like to introduce John.
I decided to run for Senate District 41 in Charleston and Dorchester counties because I feel a sense of urgency that South Carolina needs to tackle long-standing problems, one of the biggest of which is schools that are not meeting the needs of our students. I am a teacher. I teach at a Christian school in Mount Pleasant, and I know families who have had to disenroll their children because of the tough economy. Those families need help from the state. Follow the student and not the bureaucracy. That's not what we're getting right now. I had a chance to talk to my friend Bill Connor from Orangeburg, who's on the board of directors for Orangeburg Christian Academy. The school serves 175 students, mostly from poor and middle-income families. It's a very integrated school, and it's meeting the needs of those students. Almost every one of them graduates on time, and almost all the students read on grade level and their counterparts in the Orangeburg public schools are not getting that. If we pass school choice, all the public schools will be forced to get better because there's competition, and competition works. We need a sense of urgency in the Senate. The Senate Finance Committee needs to get it out of committee. The Senate needs to vote for it. They need to listen to their constituents and get this done for the future of our state.
Our next speaker is Charlotte Hendricks, who is the president of the Florence Tea Party and a very strong advocate for school choice. Please welcome Charlotte.
I'm here today to support the passage of H4894, which would usher in important school reforms in South Carolina. As a mother of 4 children who've gone through the public school system in South Carolina, who now teach full-time, I feel I'm more than qualified to give my opinion about this. Over the past 40 years, I've been concerned about a number of issues within our school system itself. One of those issues is one size fits all. 2 out of our 4 children did not fit into this concept. Each child has a different need and a different academic problem they need solved. H4894 will create competition, as others have said, with all schools, not just some, but with all schools. Parents will have a greater voice through education tax credits, enable children to escape failing schools and take meaningful steps toward curing waste, fraud, and abuse that bureaucracy has carried on throughout the years. That's right. After all, shouldn't this be all about what's best for our students and our parents, not what's best for the superintendents, the administrators, and the principals? Yes. It's time the money followed the child to the school, and not the school following the child, not the money following the child to the school. Exactly. That's right. Give us a chance to prove that this will work. South Carolina now roughly spends, and I hope y'all get this, $12,000 per child annually. That's a lot of money for us. But less than half of that actually reaches the classroom. Less than half. That's about half of what it costs to send children to private schools. And approximately 44 cents of our tax dollar actually goes to the classroom. And there's an old saying, if we continue to do the same things we've always done, you can expect the same kind of results. Thank you.
Next speaker will be Mr. Ron Garcia.
Hi, I'm here. I'm Ron Garcia Quintana with Americans Passing Up, and believe it or not, a lot of you know me because of immigration issues, but my whole life has been spent in education. I work for Ronald Reagan in education. I work here in the State Department of Education as a researcher, statistician, and testing. And I've been in the classroom. I have taught in college. I think as a conservative, I'm a very small minority because you don't see too many conservative in the education field. We need more. But with Ronald Reagan in the 80s, we were talking about school choice, and we need school choice. If you go into school and look at what's going on, there's very little teaching. You know, a lot of kids are just being thrown by the side. Like Larry Grooms was saying, you know, a lot of times the parents, they're just striving to survive, and they can't keep up with every detail. So they don't have the choice. There have been numerous movies on this issue, on school choice, and then you see the people, they have a lottery, and then the people who lose, they cry, because that's all they want. They just want an education for their kids. It's not just because a parent doesn't show up for a PTA meeting doesn't mean that they don't care. They do care. We need to give them, we owe them. We owe them this, we owe the American people this. We have choices on everything else that we do in this nation, so why not give us a choice to put the kid in the school that we, the parents, think is best for their that's suitable for them. You see a lot of kids today. We used to make fun, and when I worked in the State Department of Education, I did work in testing, and we said, you know, education in the government schools through December, they teach through December and January, they start teaching to the test. Then after we give the statewide test, they go field trips. That's what you saw here, a bunch of field trips. And it's sad. That's a lot of waste of education and time. Yeah? Okay. So you know, very often the Senate behaves as it's got diarrhea of the mouth and constipation of the brain. And they need to take some medicine and plain medicines out there they can take, but they need to move on, and move on in a solid fashion, not in a liquid fashion. God bless everybody, and thank you for being here.
Next speaker will be Wayne Hargrove. Wayne is the Vice Chairman of the Columbia Tea Party. Thank you, Joe.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak here today on behalf of all the people of South Carolina who are in favor of school choice. For too long, our educational motto in the state has been blank on Mississippi. We're doing better. We're up to 47. Government-run schools are the greatest nation that's ever existed. Number 17 in the world in education. Since parents are required by South Carolina law to have their school kids in school, they need to choose to do what's best for their children. School choice in South Carolina, to give parents and children in favor of school a chance for better education. Louisiana and Indiana have both passed school choice with bipartisan legislation. But the 4,000 families in Indiana took the first choice option for the first year it was passed. School choice in South Carolina is not black and white, Hispanic issue, Republican, it's not a Democrat, it's not an independent issue. It's an issue that affects the future and fate of our children, and we've got to give their parents the choice to do what's right for them and give them the best education. I'm curious.
But it's been bottled up in the Senate committee. I would urge our senators to take quick action in bringing this piece of legislation to a vote. Much of this debate surrounds the tax credits and exactly whose money that is. It's a core Republican principle that the tax money belongs to the
That about wraps it up. All welcome to join us as we head up to the Senate gallery.
Live and